Jake Morrison pressed his face against the cold glass of the observation deck. His breath made small clouds on the window as he stared into the darkness of space. For 32 years, he had been looking at the same view from Earth Defense Station Olympus. Stars, planets, and the quiet emptiness that surrounded their home world. Today was different. Today, something was coming. The alarm rang through the station like a scream. Red lights flashed in every hallway. Jake ran toward the command center, his boots making loud sounds on the metal floor. Other people ran with him. Some looked scared. Others looked excited. Jake felt both. Lisa Carter was already at her post when Jake arrived. She was the Admiral, the person in charge of protecting Earth from anything that might want to hurt it. Her gray hair was pulled back tight, and her blue eyes looked serious. She never smiled when there was danger coming. "Report," Lisa said to Ben Harper. Ben was young, maybe 25, with brown hair and quick fingers that moved over his computer screen like he was playing piano. He was the best at reading the machines that watched space. 300 ships, Admiral, Ben said. His voice shook a little. They just appeared out of nowhere. They are big, really big. Each one is 5 times larger than our biggest ship. Jake looked at the screen that showed the alien ships. They were black and silver, with sharp edges that looked like knives. They moved in perfect rows, like soldiers marching. There were so many of them that they blocked out the stars behind them. "Who are they?" Lisa asked. "Zephyrians," Ben answered. "The computer says they are Zephyrians." Everyone in the room became quiet. Jake felt his stomach drop. Every person who traveled between the stars knew about the Zephyrians. They were the monsters that parents used to scare children. They were the army that had never lost a fight. They had destroyed planets and turned entire star systems into graveyards. The Zephyrians had 4 arms, skin like metal, and eyes that glowed red in the dark. They were 7 feet tall and strong enough to break steel with their bare hands. Their ships were weapons that could burn cities from space. Their soldiers were trained from birth to kill and conquer. Amy Foster ran into the command center. She was out of breath, and her brown hair was messy. Amy was a scientist who studied aliens. She knew more about other species than anyone else on Earth. "I got the message," Amy said, holding up a small device. "They sent us a message," Lisa nodded. "Put it on the main screen." The screen changed from showing the alien ships to showing an alien face. It was horrible to look at. The creature had 4 eyes that burned like fire. Its skin looked like broken glass. Its mouth had too many teeth, all sharp like needles. When it spoke, the computer changed its words into English. The voice was deep and cold. "Small creatures of the 3rd planet," the alien said. "I am War Commander Thexmore of the Zephyrian Empire. You have 7 of your days to give up. You will put down your weapons. You will open your cities. You will become our slaves. If you do not, we will kill every living thing on your world." The alien leaned closer to the camera. "Do not think you can fight us. We have conquered 2,000 worlds. We have destroyed species older and stronger than you. We have brought our best ships, our best weapons, and our best soldiers. Nothing you have can stop us." The message ended. The screen went back to showing the alien fleet. They had moved closer to Earth while the message played. Jake could see that they had formed a circle around the planet. Every escape route was blocked. "How long do we have?" Lisa asked. Ben checked his computer. 7 days, Admiral. Exactly 7 days. Rick Davis walked into the command center. He was the captain of the Earthship Defiant, one of the few military ships that Earth had in space. Rick was tall and thin, with black hair and green eyes. He had been fighting space pirates and protecting trade ships for 10 years. "I heard the message," Rick said. "My crew is ready to fight." Lisa shook her head. 1 ship against 300? That would be like throwing a rock at a mountain. "Then what do we do?" Rick asked. Amy looked at her tablet computer. I have been reading about the Zephyrians for years. They always do the same thing. They show up with a big fleet. They give the planet time to surrender. Then they attack and take over. Has anyone ever beaten them? Jake asked. Amy shook her head. Never. Every species that has fought them has lost. The Altarians had 1,000 ships. The Zephyrians destroyed them in one day. The Keth Empire had weapons that could crack moons in half. The Zephyrians turned their own weapons against them. Nick Patterson entered the room. He was a general in the Earth Army, responsible for protecting the planet from ground attacks. Nick was 50 years old, with white hair and scars on his face from old battles. He had fought in every war on Earth for the past 20 years. I just talked to the world leaders, Nick said. They want to know if we should surrender. Lisa looked around the room. Everyone was looking at her, waiting for her to make the decision that would decide if humanity lived or died. What are options? Lisa asked. Ben pulled up information on his screen. We have 47 military ships in space. The Zephyrians have 300. Our biggest weapon can destroy an asteroid. Their smallest weapon can destroy a city. What about ground defenses? Lisa asked Nick. We have missile bases, energy shields around major cities, and about 2 million soldiers worldwide, Nick said. But if they can attack from space, none of that matters much. Rick stepped forward. Admiral, maybe we should fight anyway. Even if we lose, at least we die as free people. Amy shook her head. Rick, this is not about being brave. This is about staying alive. If we fight them and lose, everyone on Earth dies. Every man, woman, and child. Every animal, every plant, everything. Jake watched the alien ships on the screen. They were not moving, just sitting in space like metal vultures, waiting for something to die. He thought about his wife and his 2 children back on Earth. He thought about all the people who were looking up at the sky right now, wondering if they would see another sunrise. How much time do we have to decide? Lisa asked. Ben looked at his computer again. 6 days, 23 hours, and 14 minutes. Lisa nodded slowly. Then we have 6 days to find a miracle. The room became quiet again. Outside the windows, the alien fleet waited in the darkness, patient and deadly. 300 ships full of creatures that had never known defeat, facing a small blue planet that had never fought a war among the stars. Jake looked at the faces around him. These were good people, smart people, brave people. But were they good? Enough, smart enough, and brave enough to save the human race from the most dangerous enemy the galaxy had ever known? Time would tell. But time was running out fast. Steve Mitchell sat in his small office deep inside the Earth Defense Station. His desk was covered with papers, photographs, and computer screens. For the past 15 years, Steve had been running the most secret program in human history. It was so secret that even most government leaders did not know about it. Steve was 45 years old, with brown hair that was starting to turn gray. He had quiet eyes that missed nothing. His job was to make sure that aliens never learned the truth about humanity. His job was to lie, and he was very good at it. On his desk was a folder marked Project Mirror. Inside the folder were pictures of human soldiers using old weapons. There were videos of human spaceships that moved slowly through space. There were reports about human technology that seemed primitive and weak. Every single thing in that folder was fake. Amy Foster knocked on Steve's door and walked in. She looked worried and tired. In her hands was a tablet computer that showed information about the Zephyrian ships. Steve, I need to ask you something, Amy said. The aliens have been watching us for months. They know about our weapons, our ships, our defenses. How do they know so much? Steve smiled. It was not a happy smile. They know exactly what we wanted. Them to know. Amy sat down in the chair across from Steve's desk. What do you mean? Steve opened the folder and showed Amy the pictures inside. These are from last month. Zephyrian scouts were watching our military exercise in the Pacific Ocean. They saw our soldiers using plasma, rifles from the year 2157. They saw our ships using fusion engines from 2160. They saw our pilots flying fighters that we built in 2155. Amy looked confused. But those are our current weapons and ships. Steve shook his head. No, Amy, those are our old weapons and ships. We stopped using that technology 20 years ago. Amy stared at the pictures. Her mouth opened, but no words came. Out. Every time alien scouts come near Earth, we put on a show for them, Steve continued. We use old equipment. We pretend to struggle with simple problems. We make ourselves look weak and primitive. Steve opened another folder. This one was marked Truth. Inside were pictures of weapons that looked like magic. There were videos of ships that could disappear from sight. There were reports about technology that seemed impossible. This is what we really have, Steve said quietly. Amy picked up one of the pictures. It showed a human soldier holding a weapon that was no bigger than a pencil. According to the report, the weapon could destroy an entire building with one shot. How is this possible? Amy asked. Steve leaned back in his chair. 50 years ago, we made a decision. We decided that if aliens ever found Earth, they should think we were not dangerous. So we created two versions of humanity. The fake version that aliens could see, and the real version that we kept hidden. Rick Davis walked into the office. He had been looking for Steve for an hour. Rick's face was red, and he was breathing hard. Steve, I need answers, Rick said. I just read the report about Zephyrian weapons. According to this, their plasma cannons are more powerful than anything we have. But that cannot be right. I remember testing our plasma cannons 5 years ago. They were strong enough to cut through a mountain. Steve handed Rick the folder marked Truth. Rick opened it and began reading. His eyes got wider with each page. The PLA-SMA cannons you tested 5 years ago were the old models, Steve explained. We have been using those for training and demonstrations. Our real plasma cannons are 100 times more powerful. Rick sat down hard in his chair. Why did no one tell me this? Because you did not need to know, Steve said. Your job was to be a good captain using the equipment we gave you. If you knew the truth, you might act differently. The aliens might notice. Amy was still looking through the pictures. Steve, some of this technology looks like it came from science fiction. Movies. How long have we been hiding this? Steve turned on one of his computer screens. It showed a timeline that went back 50 years. It started small. We developed new weapons, but kept using the old ones in public. We built better ships, but only flew them in secret. We discovered new science, but only published the old discoveries. The screen showed pictures of human scientists working in hidden laboratories. It showed engineers building machines that looked impossible. It showed tests. Pilots flying ships that could travel faster than light. Where are these secret bases? Rick asked. Everywhere, Steve answered. Under the ocean, inside mountains, on the dark side of the moon, in asteroid belts where no one looks. We have been building and testing for 50 years, and no alien has ever seen our real technology. Jake Morrison walked into the office. He had been listening at the door for the past few minutes. His face was white with shock. Jake, how long have you been there? Steve asked. Long enough, Jake said. Long enough to hear that everything I thought I knew about humanity was wrong. Steve nodded. Jake, you have been working on this station for 32 years. In all that time, you have been using equipment that we consider antiques. Your weapons, your computers, your life support systems, all of it is old technology that we keep running for show. Jake looked around the office. What about this station? Is it fake too? The parts that aliens can see are fake, Steve said. But there are parts of this station that no alien has ever seen. Parts that use technology they cannot even imagine. Amy put down the folder she was reading. Steve, if we have all this advanced technology, why are we afraid of the Zephyrians? Steve turned off his computer screen. We are not afraid of them, Amy. We are afraid of what happens after we defeat them. Rick looked confused. What do you mean? If we show our real technology. To defeat the Zephyrians, every alien species in the galaxy will know the truth, Steve explained. They will know that we have been lying to them for 50 years. They will know that we are not the primitive species they thought we were. Jake sat down on the floor because there were no more chairs. What would happen then? Steve was quiet. For a long moment, then we would have to fight everyone. Every alien species that feels threatened by us. Every government that thinks we tricked them. Every military that wants to test themselves against our technology. Amy understood. So, we pretend to be weak to avoid fighting wars. Exactly, Steve said. It is easier to let them think we are primitive than to prove we are dangerous. Rick stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the Zephyrian ships waiting in space. But now we have to choose. We can keep pretending to be weak and let them destroy Earth, or we can show them what we really are and start a war with the entire galaxy. Steve nodded. That is exactly the choice we have to make. The four of them sat in silence, thinking about the decision that would change everything. Outside, 300 alien ships waited for humanity's surrender. Inside, 4 humans sat with the knowledge that their species was not what anyone thought it was. Time was running out, and soon the whole galaxy would learn the truth about humanity, whether they wanted to or not. 7 days passed faster than anyone wanted. The Zephyrian ships moved closer to Earth each day. Their dark shapes blocked out more stars each night. People on Earth looked up at the sky and saw death waiting for them. Lisa Carter stood in the command center at exactly 12 o'clock on the 7th day. The ultimatum was over. In her hand was a communication device that connected her to every human military base on Earth and in space. Her finger was on the button that would either save humanity or doom it. Admiral, Ben Harper said from his station, the Zephyrian fleet is moving into attack formation. On the main screen, the 300 alien ships began to spread out around Earth. They moved like wolves surrounding a wounded animal. Each ship pointed its weapons toward the blue planet below. Jake Morrison watched from his post. His hands were shaking. In 32 years of military service, he had never seen anything like this. The alien ships were so big that they cast shadows on the Earth's surface. Their weapons glowed with energy that could burn cities to ash. Amy Foster stood next to a computer terminal. She was watching the alien communications. They are talking to each other, she said. They are excited. They think this will be easy. Rick Davis was on his ship, the Defiant, floating in space near the defense station. His crew was ready for battle, but they all knew they were about to die. One human ship against 300 alien warships was not a fight. It was suicide. All stations, this is Admiral Carter, Lisa said into her communication device. The Zephyrians have rejected our request for more time. They are preparing to attack. All personnel, prepare for combat. Steve Mitchell sat in his secret office, watching everything on hidden cameras. In front of him was a different communication device. This one connected him to the real human military, the one that no alien had ever seen. Steve pressed his button. Phoenix Command, this is Mirror Control. Authorization code Alpha 77. Activate all hidden assets. Repeat, activate all hidden assets. In space, something impossible began to happen. 50 human ships appeared out of nowhere. They had been hiding using technology that made them invisible to alien sensors. The ships looked different from anything the aliens had seen before. They were sleek and white, with no visible weapons or engines. War. Commander Dexmore was on the bridge of his flagship when his sensors detected the new human ships. His 4 eyes widened in surprise. His communications officer turned to him with confusion on his alien face. "Commander, 50 new human vessels have appeared," the officer said. "Our sensors did not detect them before." Dexmore looked at the tactical display. The human ships were small compared to his fleet, but something about them made him feel uneasy. "What type of weapons do they carry?" The sensor officer checked his instruments. "Unknown, Commander. Our scanners cannot penetrate their hulls. We cannot identify their weapon systems." This was wrong. Dexmore had spent months studying human technology. Their ships used fusion reactors and plasma weapons. Their hulls were made of steel and titanium. Their computers were simple and slow. But these new ships showed none of those signatures. Captain Rick Martinez was commanding one of the hidden human ships, called Liberty. Rick was 38 years old with black hair and calm brown eyes. He had been flying the secret ships for 10 years, waiting for this day. "Liberty to all Phoenix ships," Rick said into his communication system. "Target acquisition complete. All alien vessels are locked, awaiting final authorization." On Earth Defense Station Olympus, Lisa Carter received a message on a screen she had never seen before. The screen was hidden behind a panel that she did not know existed. The message was from Steve Mitchell. "Admiral Carter, you now have access to humanity's real military assets. The ships you see on your screen are equipped with quantum disruptor weapons. These weapons can erase matter at the molecular level. One shot will completely destroy any target. Do you authorize weapons free?" Lisa stared at the message. Around her, everyone in the command center was looking at screens that showed impossible things. Human ships that appeared from nothing. Weapons that their computers could not understand. Technology that seemed like magic. "Admiral," Jake said quietly, "what are those ships?" Lisa looked around the room. Ben Harper was staring at his computer screen with his mouth open. Amy Foster was reading sensor data that made no sense. Rick Davis was asking questions over the radio that no one could answer. "Those ships," Lisa said slowly, "are the real human military." The Zephyrian attack began at exactly 12:15. Dexmore gave the order, and 300 alien ships fired their weapons at Earth. Beams of energy that could melt mountains shot toward the blue planet. Missiles that could crack continents launched. From alien weapon bays, none of them reached their target. The 50 human ships moved faster than physics should have allowed. They appeared in front of the alien weapons fire and simply absorbed it. The energy beams vanished into the human hulls without causing any damage. The missiles exploded harmlessly against invisible shields. "Impossible," Dexmore whispered. "There." Technology readings showed primitive fusion reactors. How do they have energy absorption systems? Rick Martinez smiled in the cockpit of the Liberty. "Phoenix Fleet, this is Liberty. All alien weapons have been neutralized. Beginning counterattack. Fire at will." What happened next lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. The human ships fired weapons that the Zephyrians could not see or understand. There were no energy beams, no missiles, no explosions. The alien ships simply began to disappear. It started with the smaller vessels. One moment they were there, the next moment they were gone. Not destroyed, not blown apart, just gone. Empty. Space where a ship had been floating a second before. Dexmore watched in horror as his fleet vanished around him. His tactical officer was screaming readings that made no sense. His communications officer was trying to send distress signals that no one would ever receive. "What is happening to my ships?" Dexmore demanded. "They are being erased, Commander," the tactical officer said. "At the molecular level, the humans are using quantum manipulation technology." Dexmore felt fear for the first time in his life. The Zephyrians had conquered 2,000 worlds. They had destroyed civilizations that were millions of years old. They had weapons that could crack planets in half. But they had never seen anything like this. How do primitive humans possess quantum technology? Dexmore asked. On the Liberty, Rick Martinez heard the alien commander's question through intercepted communications. He pressed his communication button and sent a message to the Zephyrian flagship. "You saw exactly what we wanted you to see," Rick said. Lisa Carter watched from the command center as the alien fleet disappeared ship by ship. In 4 minutes, 300 vessels became 200, then 100, then 50, then 10. Jake Morrison could not believe what he was seeing. "Admiral, where did those weapons come from?" Amy Foster was reading reports on her computer that explained everything. "Jake, we have been lying to the galaxy for 50 years. Those plasma rifles you thought were our best weapons? We stopped using them 20 years ago. Those fusion reactors you thought were advanced? We replaced them with quantum reactors in 2160. Ben Harper was tracking the battle on his sensors. "Admiral, only the Zephyrian flagship remains." On the main screen, War Commander Dexmore appeared one last time. His 4 eyes were wide with terror. His crystal armor was cracked from stress. Behind him, his bridge was in chaos. "Humans," Dexmore said. "Your technology readings showed kinetic weapons and fusion power. How do you possess capabilities beyond our understanding?" Lisa Carter looked at the alien commander who had come to destroy her world. She thought about all the years of deception, all the careful lies, all the hidden truth that had kept humanity safe. "We are not what you think we are," Lisa said simply. The last Zephyrian ship vanished from existence. In the silence that followed, 50 human ships hung in space around Earth. The most feared military force in the galaxy had been erased in less than 5 minutes. And the galaxy was about to learn that humanity was not the primitive species they had pretended to be. The secret was out. The silence after the battle was the loudest sound Jake Morrison had ever heard. He stood at his station, looking at empty space where 300 alien ships had been floating just minutes before. His hands were still shaking. His mind could not accept what he had seen. "Admiral," Ben Harper said quietly, "I am getting communications from everywhere. Every alien species in the galaxy is trying to contact us." Lisa Carter sat in her command chair and closed her eyes. For 50 years, humanity had worked to keep this secret. In 4 minutes and 37 seconds, that secret had been destroyed forever. "Put the first message on screen," Lisa said. The screen showed an alien with blue skin and 6 arms. Jake had never seen this species before. The alien was speaking very fast in a language that sounded like music. "Computer, translate," Lisa ordered. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the computer voice said, changing the alien words to English. "I am Ambassador Kelter of the Krillian Trade Federation. We wish to apologize for any previous unfriendly communications. We would like to discuss immediate peace agreements and trade partnerships." Ben switched to another message. This one showed a different alien with silver skin and 3 eyes. "People of Earth, I am High Minister Vorthik of the Vorthan Republic. We offer tribute in exchange for your protection. We have 1,000 ships loaded with rare metals and advanced computers. Please accept our gifts and do not attack our worlds." Amy Foster walked over to Lisa with a tablet computer in her hands. "Admiral, I have been counting the messages. In the past hour, We have received communications from 47 different alien species. They all want to talk to us. Steve Mitchell entered the command center. His face looked tired, but he was smiling. For 15 years, he had been planning for this day. The day when humanity could stop hiding. How bad is it? Lisa asked Steve. Steve looked at the communication board. Every light was blinking, showing incoming messages from across the galaxy. It depends on how you look at it. The good news is that no one wants to fight us. The bad news is that everyone is terrified of us. Rick Davis's voice came over the communication system from his ship. Admiral, this is Captain Davis on the Defiant. I am getting requests from 12 different species asking if they can surrender. To me personally, Lisa almost smiled. Rick, do you accept their surrender? I do not know what to do with 12 surrenders, Admiral. My ship only has room for 50 people. Amy was reading messages on her tablet. Lisa, some of these communications are very interesting. The Altarian Empire is offering to give us 10 star systems if we promise not to attack them. The Keth Republic wants to make us their official protectors. Jake looked at Amy with confusion. Why are they so scared? We only destroyed the Zephyrian fleet. We did not attack anyone else. Steve answered Jake's question. Jake, the Zephyrians were the strongest military force in the galaxy. Every alien species was afraid of them. If we can destroy the Zephyrians in 4 minutes, what do you think we can do to everyone else? Ben was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. Admiral, I am picking up news broadcasts from alien worlds. They are calling it the Battle of Earth. Some of them are saying that humanity has technology from the future. Lisa stood up and walked to the window that looked out into space. Where the Zephyrian fleet had been, there was nothing but stars and emptiness. 50 human ships floated nearby, their white holes reflecting light from Earth's sun. Steve, what happens now? Lisa asked. Steve joined Lisa at the window. Now we have to decide what kind of species we want to be. For 50 years, we pretended to be weak so we could live in peace. Now everyone knows we are strong. We cannot pretend anymore. Amy walked over to them with her tablet. I have been reading the alien news reports. They are asking questions about our technology. They want to know how long we have been hiding our real capabilities. Rick Martinez's voice came over the communication system from his ship Liberty. Command, this is Captain Martinez. I have a message from something called the Celestial Hierarchy. They say they are the oldest and most advanced species in the galaxy. They want to meet with our leaders. Ben looked up from his station. Admiral, the Celestial Hierarchy has never talked to humans before. They always said we were too primitive to notice. Lisa turned back to her command chair. Put their message on screen. The screen showed an alien that looked like it was made of light. It had no solid body, just energy that moved in the shape of a person. When it spoke, its voice sounded like wind through trees. Beings of Earth, the light creature said. I am Eternal Sage Luminar of the Celestial Hierarchy. For 1,000,000 years, we have watched the galaxy. We have seen species rise and fall. We have seen technology advance and retreat. But we have never seen deception on the scale that you have accomplished. The light creature paused. You have hidden your true nature for 50 of your years. You made every species in the galaxy believe you were primitive while you developed technology that surpasses our own. This is either the greatest military strategy ever conceived or the most dangerous lie ever told. Lisa looked around the command center. Everyone was watching the screen, waiting to hear what the ancient alien would say next. We do not know if you are peaceful or aggressive, the light creature continued. We do not know if you will use your power to protect or to conquer. But we know that the galaxy has changed forever. Every species will now have to choose. They can be your friends, or they can be your enemies. There is no middle choice anymore. The message ended. The command center was quiet for a long moment. Amy broke the silence. What do we tell them? Steve walked to the communication console. We tell them the truth. All of it. Lisa nodded. Ben, open a channel to all alien frequencies. Make sure every species in the galaxy can hear this message. Ben pressed buttons on his console. All frequencies open, Admiral. The entire galaxy is listening. Lisa took a deep breath. She was about to give the most important speech in human history. People of the galaxy, Lisa began. I am Admiral Lisa Carter of the human species. You have all seen what happened here today. You have questions, and you deserve answers. Lisa paused and looked around at her crew. Jake Morrison, who had served faithfully for 32 years without knowing the truth. Ben Harper, who had worked with equipment he thought was advanced. Amy Foster, who had studied aliens while humanity kept secrets from them all. For 50 years, we have hidden our true capabilities from you, Lisa continued. We did this not because we wanted to trick you, but because we wanted to live in peace. We saw what happened to species that appeared strong. They were attacked, conquered, or destroyed by others who feared them. Rick Davis was listening from his ship. Around him, his crew was quiet, understanding for the first time why their weapons had always seemed outdated. We chose to appear weak so that we could avoid fighting wars, Lisa said. We developed advanced technology in secret while showing you equipment from our past. We hoped that if you thought we were primitive, you would leave us alone. Steve? Mitchell was watching readouts that showed alien ships across the galaxy. Most of them were not moving. They were all listening to Lisa's words. Today, we were forced to reveal our true capabilities to defend our world, Lisa continued. We do not want to conquer anyone. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We want the same thing we have always wanted, to live in peace with our neighbors. Lisa looked directly into the camera. But we will defend ourselves. If any species attacks Earth or humanity, we will respond with the full extent of our abilities. If any species threatens innocent people, we will protect them. We are not the weak species you thought we were, but we are not your enemies unless you make us your enemies. The communication ended. Messages began flooding in immediately. Some aliens were angry about being deceived. Some were relieved that humanity claimed to be peaceful. Many were asking for protection from other species. Jake walked over to Lisa. Admiral, do you think they believe us? Lisa looked out at the stars. Time will tell, Jake, but the galaxy will never be the same. Everyone now knows that appearances can be deceiving. Everyone knows that the quiet species in the corner might be the most dangerous one in the room. Amy was reading new messages. On her tablet, Lisa, we are getting requests for help from 17 different species. They are all asking us to protect them from other aliens who might attack them. Steve laughed. 50 years of hiding, and now everyone wants us to be there. Protect her. Ben looked up from his station. Admiral, I am detecting ship movements across the galaxy. It looks like everyone is repositioning their fleets. Lisa nodded. They are all trying to figure out what this means for them. Some will try to become our allies. Some will try to stay away from us. A few might try to find ways to fight us. Rick Martinez's voice came over the communication system one more time. Command, I have a message from an alien species I have never heard of. They say they have been hiding their technology too. They want to meet with us to compare notes. Everyone in the command center started laughing. After all the fear and tension, the idea that other species might have been playing the same game was almost too funny to believe. Well, Lisa said, wiping tears from her eyes, I guess humanity is not the only species that knows how to keep secrets.